Hello guys, welcome to another trading interview, and this time we're having Maximo from Miami in the US. Alright Maximo, welcome to our interview. Guys, for those of you who don't know, FTMO is a proprietary trading firm, and upon passing our evaluation process, you get to manage up to $200,000 FTMO account from which you can withdraw up to 90% of your profits. And that is something that here Maximo has achieved. So, if I'm not mistaken, you have passed a $100,000 FTMO challenge, right?
That is correct.
All right. Uh, Also, you've had two profit splits, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, and now speaking numbers, I believe on the first occasion you have made a profit of about $27,000, and on the second one it was similar, something about
Uh,
$29,000.
that is correct. Yep.
All right, good. So, yeah, tell us a bit more about yourself. So, for example, how did you get to trading and so on? Introduce yourselves a little.
So the story is kind of a long one. I got into trading. I knew about forex trading in general around 2 years ago, but I didn't really knew about the proprietary firms until right around like 6 months of learning about it. And that's where I came across FTMO and the different funding companies. And the reason I chose FTMO is because I know you guys have a good reputation and you guys are very reliable with how you handle the profit splits and etc. And yeah, it's I kind of started trading with demo accounts.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I initially started. I wanted to do the 100K because I thought the 100K would be nice. You know, it'll be a nice bag to get um, once you start showing and proving to yourself that you could be profitable. Um, and yeah, that's kind of my story.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Now, speaking of trading in general, I assume you started with some retail broker with a demo account. So at least that's how most people start, right? Or
Yeah.
what's your okay? So that was the case. Before you got to FTMO, were you managing also your personal account?
No, no.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no. I didn't really have a personal account. I kind of just went straight to the demo trading because one, I didn't really have that much capital at the time,
Mm-hmm.
so I couldn't really uh fester the funds to create a demo account. Like, yes, I could have done. I mean, not a demo, a funded account, but I could have done a $200 account, but then it's just kind of like there goes my paycheck for the week.
Yeah.
So you know
Okay.
that's that's my
Okay.
story with the whole demo accounts and how I started uh learning how to trade.
Okay, makes sense. Now, where did you get the education for trading? Because nowadays, there's so many sources that you can go for. Some people go for books. Some people pay for trading gurus, educators. Some people just use YouTube or whatever. So how was it in your case?
Um, I kind of went to the library. I used to just go to the library every day for the past like 6 months, just straight every single day, just reading books, watching YouTube videos. I never really paid for any courses until very recently for mentorship, but that's kind of like a mentorship type thing. It wasn't really like a trading course, how to trade, that sort of thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so so yeah, I kind of learned how to trade just through YouTube and just really going to the library every day, catching up on books on currencies and pretty much trading, technical analysis, that sort of thing.
Okay, so yourself, you are a technical trader, right?
Yes, you can say
Okay.
that.
Uh-huh. Do you use the fundamentals as well in your strategy, in your approach to
I do.
trading?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do keep them in mind. I do keep in mind large trading events that might be happening that could possibly skew the trend another way. Um, I do keep the fundamentals in mind,
Mm-hmm.
especially when there's a huge news event comes up. Not only because of the rules for trading, but also for trading with FTMO, but also the fact that it could that trend could easily make that bullish trend could easily make it a bearish trend if like the inflation rate is up or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Okay, sure thing. Now, regarding trading and financial markets in general, uh, have you started right on with forex, or were you also in touch with other financial derivatives like some options or futures, something like that, or was it forex from the start?
Um, well, for me it was really what started it, like pretty much most people, from what I see for the other interviews that started trading was the crypto. I started really
Crypto.
keeping, yeah,
Okay.
I started keeping in touch with crypto, but then after after learning more about it, I do see trading in general as a positive, like as something that could be feasible.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, crypto just wasn't feasible for me. I there was too many there are too many coins, too many, promoters and all that, and it's like, you never really know. You're just basically trying to catch the next Bitcoin is what everybody was trying to promote it as, and it's like there's not going to be a next Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
get it. It's the whole cryptocurrency market. It's from a certain point of view, it's just like a wild west, and there's
yeah,
just so many things going on that it's kind of hard to navigate in what's really important.
exactly.
All right, okay. So then when you came up to the resolution that crypto is not for you, then you immediately just went to forex, which just seemed a bit more clear.
Yeah, forex is more for me, forex is more stable. Like it's volatile, but it's also stable in the sense that like there's really no one, like there's no one person pumping up the price. It's
Sure.
really just the banks, and it's really just the different institutions doing that. So it's more stable
I get it.
in
I,
that
I mean,
sense.
euro dollar is not gonna drop to zero. Just like
Yeah.
some small coins might. So okay, I see. Now, yourself, if I'm not mistaken, I was checking your account matrix, and you're mostly a day trader, right? You trade within a day. You don't really hold positions for too long. Or when you see an opportunity, do you also use bigger time frames? Like, do you hold up positions for over a couple of days or even weeks?
Um. No, I don't really hold a position for a couple, like for any longer than a day. The longest I held it for was around, I'll say around day
Mm-hmm.
a day. But that I don't really go past that 24-hour mark, and yeah,
Okay.
it's just kind of how I roll.
Do you have any specific session that you prefer?
London, and I'm starting to try to get into New York now because London here it's like 3 in the morning.
Uh huh.
So for the main pair I trade the pound yen. That's when it's most active during London, because you also have, with London open, you also have sort of like that mid to Asia end. Like, you basically have like the middle. Um, you're right in the middle of Asia session when London opens, and then to the end, like when it ends around 5 here. So it's kind of the most volatile for that pair.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like to trade New York too, because New York has a lot of volume as well.
Okay. Now, I remember we had an interview with a trader who was also trading pretty much only with GBP JPY, And I'm gonna ask you the same question as I asked him. So why GJ? What made you choose specifically this trading pair?
Um, so originally when I chose GJ, I used to do Euro dollar and all that, but I just see GJ for me. It's more of a structure,
Mm-hmm.
more structural, and I want to kind of diverse from GJ now, especially from how the market was for these past few weeks, where it's just kind of been stagnant. It's kind of been staying in one spot if you look at the higher time frames.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely looking into gold. The gold dollar is also one that I'm looking into, especially with all the news about inflation and all the things that are going on with the Fed. It's I see that as like not not straining away from GJ, but as kind of like another way to diverse, so I don't just rely on one pair. I have another pair that I could work with if it's not going well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in the case that the market is just going to the side, it's not volatile enough, you just want to have some backup.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't have to put all my eggs in one basket. I got the
Okay.
other basket.
Makes sense. All right. Now another big topic with pretty much all traders is the trading psychology. So yourself, you've been trading with us for about 6 months, I believe. You bought the challenge in March, something like that. So it's not the longest time period, but still, do you see any changes, any development in your psychological approach to trading?
Um, I do see myself risking a lot less, and especially with FTMO with their daily risk, it also helped me a lot. Not over leveraging and just don't not risking too much
Mm-hmm.
because once you hit that once you lose that 5,000 or that 5% in a day, it just you lose it anyway. So it's just you gotta. It teaches you to like, okay, even though it's not gonna go your way, even though it's not going your way right now, there's always another time. There's always another time to trade. Just move on to the next day,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak.
All right. So, if I understand from the beginning, you were one of those hungry traders. You just wanted to put on a big lot size and want to see
Yeah,
big numbers come up. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
that's
and it was a demo account too, so it didn't feel like oh I lost like 10,000. I'm like, oh, I could have lost 10,000, but um, it was kind of like my way of experimenting and trying to figure out what the hell a lot size is.
uh-huh.
You know, like you put 10, but you put 10 lot size for a $50,000 account. It's not gonna go well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean we see that quite often, to be honest. So now let's just diverse from trading for a moment and let's just talk a bit more about you. So, except for trading, what are your other hobbies, or do you study?
Um, do I study? Uh, not not as much. I kind of wanted to move full time to trading because of how it is. But I used to do mechanical engineering. I used to study for mechanical engineering, and yeah, I don't really go to college anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of
All right. So you said you're trading London sessions. So as you're from the East Coast, that's during the night time.
yeah.
So
That's like at 3 a.m.
yeah, how do you manage to get the sleep schedule right?
Well, originally, uh, when I started before I was funded, I started working at Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to have the night shift, or not the night shift, the morning shift, which was pretty much started in the middle of the night. It was from 4 a.m. to 9. So I'll always like get up around 2:30. I kind of grew used to it, but I used to get up like around 2 2:30 ish between that time, and I'll get ready, and before I'll go to work, I'll try to see if there's a trade that I could possibly take for my challenge, and then once once I set the trade in, I go to work,
Mm-hmm.
come back in the morning, and I see how it goes, or I could see how my trade is going during break, uh, that sort of thing.
Wait, so how often were you checking the position?
Oh,
did you just open a position and said, okay, I'm gonna check it in a couple of hours whether it hit my stop loss or take profit?
no, no. I'm still kind of struggling with this. But I've definitely gotten better now.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gotten better now. But I used to check it like
Yeah,
every
every
tick.
single
I
minute.
was I was I was I was focused on it. But I got it better, definitely. Now I normally check my trade like every hour, every 45 minutes. But before I used to check it like every 5, every 2 minutes. Just how did it go? How did it go? Because especially I was so afraid of like those moves where it'll go down, right? It'll go your way for like 20 pips, and then in the last minute, because I trade on the 5 minute chart,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll go down 20 pips, and you're like, all right, yeah, it's going well. And then for the last minute, it'll just jump up 15 pips, and you'll be like, you don't know what happened. And you're like, oh my god, can I go? Should I close? Should I keep it? You have like all these emotions getting into you. So that's definitely what I learned from psychology is just you need to control your emotions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well that's usually a long run. It's not something that you're gonna master in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So as you're trading the London session, so I wanted to ask, how many hours do you usually spend trading? Like, is it from 3 a.m. till 6 9 in the morning, or do you spend the whole day typically in front of the charts?
Normally, uh, I just like the time I spend around the charts. I normally just wait for like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'll after I put my trade in, I'll look at the charts, and if it's going my way, then I'll just leave it and go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay, so you're
that's
always setting the stop loss and the take profits after opening the position.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. All right.
always.
Okay. All right, here we are with the trading platform, and I can see a British pound and Japanese yen. So I believe you prepared a couple of trades for us. So yeah, just go ahead. How do you trade? Show us.
So normally, with my personal stop loss and take profit. Well, this one was an exception, but I normally keep a take profit to a 7 to 1, 6 to 1, that sort of range, because I keep a 10 pip stop loss for
Mm-hmm.
all my trades. That's kind of like the gold, not the gold standard, but it's kind of like the rule that I have. Just keeping a 10 pip stop loss. This trade specifically, this happened around 7 in the morning for me. So I was originally going to take a long, because it was on a bearish position. I mean, not bearish, bullish position. Sorry, and it was continually going up. There was an uptrend starting all the way from the beginning of the month, so constant uptrend. And then I saw this massive rejection, and I knew right away when it starts rejecting. How many pips is that? That's around 30 pips. When it rejects around 30 pips, that is like, your signal that like, hey, this thing is going to take a reverse trend. So I immediately got a MetaTrader when I saw this, and I entered my position around this area, and I kind of held it because like by this point it was just dropping. So
Mm-hmm.
I held it, and by the time I saw that there was by the time I saw that there was a support here, and it tested again, and it kept on, it couldn't break it. I closed my trade around here, so I remember I made 16,000 that one trade.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was this your most profitable trade on the FTMO account? I believe it was, right?
Yes, it was.
Uh-huh. All right. Wow. So this was a quick action. It seems like, because usually people start with I don't know, marking the support and resistance areas, and
Yeah,
so on. And this seemed like you had to act quick in order to get in a position.
yeah. It's kind of like one of the things. I was on the computer when it happened, so thankfully, I normally don't like to do trades on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the MetaTrader platform, you have a broader scale of what you can see. Of, like, you have the position size calculator that you could add on there. You have you could do the one-click trading, which is also very helpful for me because I started doing multiple trades but lower lot sizes. If that makes any sense,
Mm-hmm.
because entries is very, very, very important. So that's why um, I highly recommend that when I'm a trader.
So, do you use also partial entries and partial exits?
What do you mean by that?
Well, let's say if you want to enter some bigger position, but in order to make the best entry, you just split the position into, let's say, three, four, five smaller positions, and just you accumulate it all together. Or do you just, if you enter a position, you always enter the full position and you also always exit the full position?
Okay, so I see what you mean. Yeah, I do use partial entries. So basically, I'll make multiple trades with smaller positions, like
Mm-hmm.
smaller sizes.
Okay. Do you also use the top-down analysis? Because what we're also seeing is that often traders start with breaking up the market with a bigger time frame, and then gradually go into the smaller ones to determine where exactly should they enter the trade. So is that something that you go for as well, or
Yeah,
yeah? Okay.
yeah, 100%. Especially when trading lower time frames. The lower time frames always have the most noise. So I I like to do the higher time frames to mark up my lines of resistance and my lines of support because I mostly trade support and resistance. That's kind of like my bread and butter, support and resistance and price action. So yeah, that's how I really
Mm-hmm.
do it.
And also, what seemed quite interesting to me was the 10 pip stop loss. Do you always use like 10 pips regardless of the size of the position?
Yes,
Uh huh. All right. And regarding the risk reward, you're always going for a 5, 4, something like that, right?
a 5, 6, 7
Uh huh.
ish.
All right. Now, what I noticed is that your win rate was about 30-40%. And I imagine it must be psychologically quite demanding because people always want to win. Now, with your strategy, which uses a very high risk reward but also lower win rate, uh, isn't it difficult? Coping with the fact that most positions actually turned out in a loss.
Um, yeah, it is. It is a challenge, but it's kind of part of the mental fortitude. It goes back to psychology,
Mm-hmm.
where you can't let the emotions really control you because you know that these wins that you're gonna get, even though it's 40%, these wins that you get are gonna outweigh the losses. So at the end, it always turns out for the best. If I was doing 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, then yeah, that would be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, so I guess you gotta believe in a strategy, and as long as you keep in mind that in a long run it's gonna work out well for you, then it's easier to accept the fact that you actually lose most positions.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So, do you have any other trade that you could possibly show us in
yeah.
the
So
trading
this was my
platform?
best trade, and second trade was right here. So I entered the position around this area because I saw that there was a line of resistance right here, and I knew that the price was having a tough time breaking the resistance, and also up here too. But by that point, I kind of saw this as a downtrend going in, and that's where I took the position here, and I held it. I didn't really look at this position for a while because if I probably did, I would have saw this and immediately closed it because I do like to close some of my losers before they get too bad.
Mhm.
But thankfully I didn't. So it barely reached. It almost reached my take profit, but then it reversed for the better, and that's how I managed to win this trade. So looking, not constantly looking at your position also helps because sometimes you don't want to make those decisions. As as I don't know, as crazy as that might sound, sometimes not looking at it also helps with the psychology because if you're not always constantly like being attentive to the screen and just looking
Mhm.
at it.
All right, and here we are with the final trade again on British pound and Japanese yen. You have also added RSI, if I can see. So
Yes.
how did you work with the RSI for this particular trade?
So originally, when you go like originally when I did this trade, I was looking at the higher time frames and I saw that. Okay, so yeah, it was around here. So originally, when I wanted the higher time frames, I saw that it was a bearish trend at the moment. So you see that there's a higher high, right? This high right here that couldn't break this resistance. So it went down and it kept on going down. There's new higher lows. I mean, lower highs and lower lows. So I made my position around here because I saw that on the long term it was going on a downtrend, and the RSI here. I don't know if I could go show you on the. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we are. Actually, hold on. Just to make it easier for everybody. Okay, so I saw that here on the 15-minute and on the 5-minute, the RSI was overbought, way overbought. So I knew that this it was eventually going to go down. It was going to this resistance was going to reject, but also that it was since it was on the higher time frame as well that it was going on a downtrend. I suspected that it was going to go way further down than originally. So I set my take profit around this resistance. I mean, around this support
Mm-hmm.
because that's how it historically rejected, right? So normally when it went up to this price, you can even see here it went on the downtrend. It tried to break this resistance. It couldn't, so it went down even further. So using the story of the chart, um, and the history of the chart, I set my take profit to this support, and it broke it. And I could have made more money, but it's always a thing with trading. You never want to risk it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, do you always when you set the stop loss and a take profit, like do you just set it and forget it, or do you also, as the market develops, do you also move the take profits or the stop losses?
um, do I set it and forget it, or do I set the take profit? Um, I try to set it and forget, but I like I said, I just check it every 45 minutes or so. I see that it's going well, but I always like to keep a take profit because if you set and forget it, you could eventually lose a lot of money with that too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to see myself as a swing trader. I might try to get into it now. I'm definitely gonna get into it now that I have a swing trading account. But I see swing trading as uh sort of more risky with my style of how
Mm-hmm.
I do my strategy. I don't see swing trading as like a I just see my strategy as like a thing to use for swing trading per se.
Okay. But do you think that that might change? That may change with the time, perhaps as you adapt to other strategies as well. that
Yeah, I
you might
think
want to give it
it'll
a shot.
change. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it'll change with time.
And finally, we find ourselves in your account matrix. Now, judging from the balance curve, I can see that you had a steep start. Really, you got to about a profit of 45,000 within about 20 15 trades, and then things got a little less green. So, do you know like what happened? Like, did you broke any of your rules that you set for yourself, or why do you think it went a little downhill from the half?
Um, a little mix of everything. Um, I kind of like for the first few trades, it was all right. Like I first few losses, it was all right, but then it started getting more and then more and then more and then more. So then it kind of the psychology kind of kicked in where it's like, oh man, I gotta, I was at 46, I was at 45 before. Why can't I do it again? You start telling yourself these questions, but it's really what can you do? The market kind of moves the way it does, and it especially with GJ recently, it kind of been stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is also part of the reason why I wanted diverse, like I explained earlier. Uh, but yeah, you kind of need to control yourself from getting FOMO, because FOMO is also part of it's part of the psychology. But when you get the fear of missing out, then you really start losing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I learned, and sometimes, like I said, or like you said, I started out I started out pretty early. I only been doing this for 6 months. I'm not going to be a pro when it comes to psychology, like most of these people are, with who you see online and stuff, who are like, oh, I made 100,000 in a day. You're like, man, I want to get to that point, but you always gotta know where you're at the moment, and you can't get full of yourself. And I
Mm-hmm.
during that period, I kind of got full of myself.
Okay, so it was like a combination of a little psychology issues plus not really convenient market conditions.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You're now managing $100,000 FTMO account. So the question is that enough for you, or are you planning to go for more, to take another FTMO challenge to increase your balance?
I'm actually working on a 200K challenge right now, and hopefully it'll go well. I just started, so
Mm-hmm.
um, there's a lot of hope to be had, and yeah, that's kind of how it's going.
All
Just started.
right.
I couldn't really tell you how it will go, but
uh,
that's
by the way, are you going for any specific profit targets? I mean, talking in percentage, or you're not the type of guy that would say, okay, I want to make, I don't know, 5 10%. You just make whatever the market offers, you go for it.
um. I do try to go for a percentage in the long run. In the general scheme of things,
Mm-hmm.
I think looking at sizes as percentage instead of actual raw numbers is, is good. Um, that it's also part of psychology, but uh, yeah, the percentage I do look at, and I probably look at more than anything than the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so as we just heard, you're taking another FTMO challenge. So hopefully soon you're going to be managing $300,000 in your FTMO account.
Yep.
Now, what is the plan for the long run? Are you planning to stay a full time trader, or are you planning to pass the knowledge to the others, or I don't know, starting a fund, or are you even thinking about this kind of feature?
Yes, I'm definitely am thinking about starting this kind of feature. I don't want to. How can I say this? I want to do this for the long run. I definitely like to do this full time. Not only because you make good money and because everybody loves money, but you also have time. Time is also very important, and it's a lot of things that not many people have. So, using the best of it, I think trading could help, definitely help with the time, and
Mm-hmm.
especially now trading full time. Uh, I pretty much have more time on my hands. I don't even what to do with. Uh, so yeah, it's definitely gonna be a full time thing. I eventually want to teach in the future. I'm actually teaching a few people right now. I'm not charging them anything
Mm-hmm.
of that sort, but just showing them how it works, showing them like, hey, this is what I do for my strategy. This is the pair I trade. And yeah, it's
Mm-hmm. Just passing on the
yeah,
basics.
just passing on the basics pretty much.
Okay. Well, I assume that your surroundings, so the people around you, must have got pretty interested. I don't know if you share the results that you're having, but for people who are not really in the trading business, or for people who like don't really know what trading is all about, then suddenly them hearing, and especially in a young age, hearing that you can make certain figures just by, and again, this is something that this is only the way that the people who are not really, in trading, the way they see it is that you're receiving money just by making a few clicks. Of course, it's we both know that trading is one of the hardest businesses in the world, that you gotta devote hundreds and hundreds of hours, right? But again, from the perspective of the people who don't know, they must be like, wow, you're making like a lot of money just by a few clicks, and all of a sudden, then those people must get quite interested.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Especially now, it'll pay off. It'll definitely pay off eventually. I failed like 6 challenges before I even got the 100K. So it is definitely a challenge. It is definitely a triumph. Um, I don't want to I don't want to point fingers or anything, but if you don't just accept things at face value, just accept that it's going to take a lot of work to get it. Because with the challenges and stuff, um, it's not just $600. It's the fact that you have to put the hours of work so you could pay the 600 so you could manage a larger account. Um, I think a lot of people, they who start trying proprietary firms, they just give up right away because they're like they spend 600 and they're like, oh, I failed. Oh, it's not gonna work for me. Whatever. And it's not like that. I spent a lot of money, or at least a lot of money for me at the time, uh, into into this, and it paid off. And now it's working for me pretty successfully.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, was there a point where you thought, maybe after failing some of the challenges, that maybe you should try something else, or what was it that held you to believe that this is actually gonna work well, which ultimately, now we all know it did.
Oh, it definitely. I There was definitely moments I thought about giving up, but
Mm-hmm.
those those moments are the ones that you have to keep on trying. Those are the moments that you have to push through. If you feel like giving up, don't push through it. It doesn't only go with trading; it goes to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like giving up, if you really want it, but you feel like giving up at the time, don't. Just push through it. Uh, because regret, it's definitely a bigger. You definitely feel bigger pain than failure.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that, yeah, persistence is key.
Okay. Well, I mean, on the other hand, six challenges might sound like a lot, but at least me personally, I've heard stories about people losing multiple life accounts, right? And then we're not talking about hundreds of dollars, but we're talking about even tens of thousands of dollars easily. So usually the first lesson in the trading industry is pretty pricey. So yeah. But again, we can see if you stick to it, it pays off in the end. Now, before we conclude this interview, I just wanted to tell you that if you wanted to say one thing to maybe people who are new to FTMO, new to trading, what would be your advice, or what would be your shout out to these kind of people?
Uh, what would I tell them? Fortune favors the brave.
All right.
That's my point.
Okay, what a way to end it. Thank you, Maximo, for sticking around. It was a pleasure to have you here. And
Thank you.
that's FTMO.